Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. We're in the 3.5 Monster Manual, and we are on the Treant. It's a huge plant. Looks like there's some dimensions somewhere, I believe. 30 foot tall, 6 inches, with a trunk about 2 foot in diameter, and it weighs about 4,500 pounds. They speak their own language, plus Common and Sylvan. So, 2 foot in diameter, if you think about it, is actually pretty small. Let's look at a miniature real quick, and let's assume that his shoulders are just over 2 foot in across. It's very small for a size huge base. A lot of people make trees with this kind of stuff, and I wasn't going to do that today, I don't think. I hadn't really come up with a great plan, but I will make a tree for you. So what we're going to do first, we're going to get some tin foil. And then if you have any kind of dowel or stick or skewer or something to put inside this, let me grab some. Now I have some dowels here that in other projects we've stolen parts from, and I think that'll work good for what we're doing. So I'm going to get my snippers and a tape measure, and I'm going to get a little bit bigger than 6 inches. I'm going to go 7. And then just to make this a little thicker, I'm going to cut this one in half-ish. I'm going to get a little glue. Shove that in there like that, okay? Then I'm going to set that there. Tear that off. I'm going to crinkle that all up. I'm going to start bending that around a little bit so that my shape isn't completely a boring straight trunk going up. I'm going to try the top there. I'm going to snip that off for now. Okay. Something like that. I'm going to use that as the base of mine. And I'm going to try to make it a little twisted up. Just give it some texture and make it a little interesting. And then we're going to want some, we're going to do the base, but before we get too excited about the base, we're going to get some of this going here. And I'm going to spread this around and try to catch it all on here and then move it where I want it to sit. Okay. And then we want a face for our Treant. So let's dig into my plastic soldier's box and see if we can't find something that we can cut off to make a face off of a zombie or something. Okay. These all look a little more sinister than I was hoping. If I had one of these that my kids didn't paint or start painting and quit, that might be ideal. This guy's face has potential. That guy has no head. All right. That was going to be really hard to get to, but I think we can do something with this guy's face. I have a lot more plastic soldiers in my big box, but I really don't want to have to dig into that because it's a pain to get into. So I know I want this guy's head. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to get it off from him. And then we don't need the ears and stuff. And we could take some of the back of this off too, I believe. Okay. Oops. All right. Now let's look at our Treant picture and get an idea of what has to happen. So we know this is probably not going to need to be that tall up there ultimately, right? And we know we need some branches coming off. So let's, yeah. And that's not going to need to be that tall on top. So we'll snip some of this off so we can make some branches coming off. Now, just to make sure this stays together while we're working, we're just going to get glue and smear it all around there like that. And then we need some roots coming off this dude. So what I'll do is I'll just bring some glue around. And I'll simulate a couple like this. And I'll get this piece here, for example. Okay. I'm just going to twist that up, take that piece of that out. Okay. That's a little bit long, but yeah, this is too long. Okay, drag that down into where you want it, position where you want it. And then as these are drying or getting cool enough that you can do it, just get your gun and run your gun through there. Try to create some texture, okay? And you're going to have some spots where you need to clean up things, like the tinfoil is coming loose right there. Okay. And then we know that the face can kind of go on that part there, really, or anywhere on your Treant. But I think I want mine to be kind of right. Let me bend this a little bit more. There we go. And then just in these, like where this bend is here, especially, I want to get some there. And even though I plan on putting some branches there, just to strengthen that up where the bends are, I'm going to come around the face here. And I'm going to kind of work that into the, slowly. See what I'm doing? I'm just grabbing it and pulling it down to create a less drastic angle. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom here. But I'm going to pull this down kind of far. And you'll see why in a minute. And we'll let that start to cure a little bit. And as soon as it starts changing color and starting to dry, I'm going to come back and do some texture work in there. Now for the arms. Let me get a little bit of tinfoil. Throw some glue in there. Oh my gosh, can't breathe at all. It's been like a month and a half. I just can't breathe. Okay. I'm going to clean that up. Kind of drag all that into place. Just make it look. And since this is a magical creature, a magical giant plant, you know, obviously it doesn't have to have the proportions of a human or anything, because it's like a tree that came to life. So let's, you know, be a little creative with it if we can. Now the treants that I built, that I use for my table are big, because I don't agree with a lot of D&D scale, but I think I've talked about that on this channel quite a bit. Now we want like a knot coming off the back. So this little piece we made here is going to be perfect for that. So what we want to do is we want to sturdy that up. Bring it up a little bit at a weird angle and kind of work that in. Where did I put my glue sticks? Of course I lost them. I found them earlier and then I promptly lost them again. Oh, they're right here on the table. Here on the workbench. And we're going to let that cool. Okay. Now we need some branches for the top part. And we got to reach back in the box, grab a couple skewer pieces. And I'm just going to make this as one kind of thing and break it up. Whoa. I think I'm going to do 3 branches coming out the top of its head. And leave it at that. I'm just snapping these and putting them roughly in place. It's way bigger than I wanted. All right. Now, we want to make sure these are sturdy. We're just going to get glue, kind of merge those in so they look like they naturally grew out of it and they're connected, not just some piece sticking to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to strengthen up the ends by just putting a blob up there and then rub it in around to smooth and seal things shut. Just like that. Okay, now this knot on the back. I'm going to get in here and push the tinfoil down a little bit where I can and just snip in a little bit. And mush that in. I'm going to get a little bit of glue here and smooth it, make it flush. I'm going to come around the outside a little bit with another piece of glue. And that's going to be a broken off branch that knotted out. I'm going to come around one more time with the outside, make a little bit of a bump, 3D ledge. And I'm going to let that cool for a minute. And once that cools, I'm just going to come around the outside and clean that up and make that blush with the rest of the tin foil. All right, so we got a lot of spider webs on here, and we still need to sturdy this up. So let's get all our spider webs. And I'm going to get a couple toothpicks. And I'm going to get some tin foil. I'm just going to twist these into some extra sticks. So these are thinner. And I think we can use these to kind of just add a little interest. Okay. Now let's get this on a piece of something to hold on to it while we work. And we got some spider webs on the base here. Okay, I'm going to get a little bacon, or well, yeah, baking soda too. But I'm going to get in here in between these. I'm going to get some sealed up. Or is it empty? No, it's not empty. Okay. I'm going to get in here in between these roots and paint this with baking soda. Or, what is this stuff? Super glue? Okay. I'm just going to do this sections. I'm going to do it sections at a time because I want to make sure I get good coverage. I'm going to throw a couple bigger rocks on here to help kind of hold this in place and add weight to the base. It's going to add some interest to the model too. Okay, I lost my big rock here. All right, let's get in here and do the rest. All right, so at this point, we're going to need to do some sturdying up for where joints are and stuff. So we'll just kind of pick out spots where we're worried it won't be sturdy and spots where we think the tinfoil might come loose. We'll focus on that stuff. And you got to do it in sections since you won't be able to see well, right? So on every limb, to start it up, you're going to want to get a little bit on the front and a little on the back. This is going to do something for you texture-wise too, but I'm not promising you're going to love that in the end. I'm going to come around the side of his face here, because I want there'll be some consistency on this model. Scheiße. These are really long, and I'm not sure how sturdy they're going to be. So I'm just going to get a little extra on there. All right. Oh, I got some tinfoil in there. Oh, no. All right, so we're obviously not going to be able to put the tree, like the bush parts on it right now, are we? 'Cause it's got to be painted. The best way to put those on there, I'm going to guess, is probably to use something like floral moss or Spanish moss, or something that's easy to work with. We'll see when we get to that point, though. I don't really have a plan. But to this point here, I'm going to paint this. Time out. I want to sturdy that up. But I'm going to paint this all black, and then we're going to come back and deal with that, okay? So please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon and all that. Notice I am not a super sculptor person. I'm a regular dude in my basement. I am not a trained professional in any way. That means you can definitely do the same shit in your basement, my dudes and dudettes and everyone else. So keep that in mind. I am not a pro. I'm just a dude. And nothing I do here is impossible or beyond your reach. The more texture you add, the more of this you strengthen it up with, the longer this miniature will last, is my thought here. Okay. All right. See you in part 2. Like, subscribe, share, and all that stuff. If I didn't say it, I think I just did. I can't even remember anymore. Go to the website, buy some miniatures. Not these miniatures, guys. The Dungeon Swag miniatures. And join our Discord. On our Discord, you'll be able to share your crafts with other people and get constructive feedback, and maybe give some constructive feedback, and hang out and make silly jokes and share memes and do all the Discord-y kind of stuff. So we'll see you next time in part 2. Thanks for watching.